Hi, welcome to Health Sidekick. In this video, we're simply going to be going over the difference between Health Sidekick and a lot of other sites out there, and the difference while if you're using other online calculators, diets, uh, calorie counters that use the basal metabolic rate, why those calculators, diets, and so forth might actually be causing you to gain weight and might stop you from losing weight with inaccurate information. So let's go and let's talk about the basal metabolic rate first and what the basal metabolic rate is. A lot of diet sites, online calculators use something called the Harris-Benedict equation. Basal metabolic rate says that how many calories do I burn when I'm just sitting here? And people want to know that, because if I know how many calories I burn just sitting there, then if I deduct a certain amount of calories, I can go ahead and lose weight. That's the whole goal of the calculators and so forth. So what it does is they came up with this equation in 1919, and then it was actually they had to adjust it because as people got fatter, they lost lean body mass. It actually became more inaccurate. Now this was adjusted in 1984, okay? And as we know, the obesity rate has gotten worse since 1984, and this number has continued to get worse, and probably is due for another adjustment. But it basically says, are you a man and a woman? And how much do you weigh? And how tall are you? What's your age? And based on that, this is how many calories you can eat per day at rest. Okay. Now, the problem with this equation to start out with is that just in this equation itself, there was extreme instances. For example, in one instant, there was a study that reported a case where two individuals with the same lean body mass, this is off of Wikipedia, one was burning 1,075 calories per day, and one was burning 1,790. Now, that's a difference of 715 calories per day. Now, the reality is that for somebody that is trying to use these online calculators and these tools for weight loss, that's a big difference. And we know also by just looking at it that there was another 26.7% that there was a variation that was unexplainable. So we know those things to be fact. Now, what else it does is it then takes that equation, that calories per day, and it says, we're not all just at rest. We're not just sitting there. So let's go ahead and times it times something. We're going to times it times most online calculators and calorie counters and sites go from 1.2 to 1.9 depending on your activity level. I'll say we believe that's a little bit problematic too, because it's subjective. Are you extremely inactive or are you extremely active? That's your subjective idea, so you times it to find out. The whole goal of doing this calculation is to try to figure out one thing: how many calories can I eat and lose weight? That's what they're trying to figure out. As you can see, this is fairly problematic equation. It also puts another problem on it where it says 1 pound equals 3,500 calories. So if I want to lose 1 pound of weight, I want you to remember that I have to reduce my caloric intake by 3,500. Well, 1 pound for me might not be 1 pound for you. It might not be 1 pound for the other, and so forth. So anyhow, the whole goal of this is that if you have all this inaccurate data and all these estimates and so forth, if you're not doing anything to go ahead and figure out what your BMR is exactly down, so that means you would have to adjust these over and over again, figure out data, do analysis on it and so forth, then you're dealing with data that is inaccurate, and you're dealing with that is in general in terms, and might be stopping you from losing weight, and also might be causing you to gain weight. So what does Health Sidekick do that's different? What Health Sidekick does is that our goal is to give our users and our members more accurate data for free. The whole idea is to give them as many tools as possible to give them accurate data, because if I don't have in this equation, if I don't have this many calories consumed minus this many calories burned equals this many net calories, we also include mental and spiritual. That's going to be up to you whether that's important to you or not. But if I don't know exactly that this equals 0.45 pounds in weight loss, over a 7-day period. This is my 7-day moving average. If I don't know that to be fact, then I'm already starting out at a disadvantage. If I'm already starting out with a number that says, I don't know exactly what this is, I'm already, as a person that's trying to stay healthy and maybe lose weight and so forth, I'm already in a spot where I can be getting bad data and bad numbers. So we want to go ahead and do that. So what does Health Sidekick do that's different is we take your information that you input, for example, your 7, 14, 30-day moving average, and we say, based on this information that you've put in and based on what your body's actually done in the past, we're going to predict the future for you. Now, what does that mean? What that means is that I know empirically that over the last 30 days, I've consumed 2,037 calories per day. I've burned 358 on average. I've had a net calories of 1,679 calories, and that my average weight, I've lost 0.84 pounds. That's a fact for me. I know that to be factual. So now I can take this data, and we take all three, and then we have a calculation that we do. We take that data and we say, this is what's going to happen to you in the future based on that information. Now, and remember this, that because we use averages and so forth, it's constantly dynamic. So as I change and as I grow and get older, if I get a different job that might be more active, all of that information is in this, is in the moving averages, the calculation that we use. So going on to, and I can even get more specific. I can go to my history, for example, and I can say, let me look at right now, today it's 11/26. Let me look over the last month, and I want to see what I want to see specifically, for example, what this means. What is this number? I know this is how many total calories I consumed, but of what? And I can look very quickly at an average and say, oh, that's my average is 2,013. But what did I eat? And I can see now that specifically this is how these foods that I ate, total calories consumed, this is the activity. I can scroll down easily and see the activity that I did, for example, beach walk and so forth. That translated into 0.86 pounds. I know that data to be absolutely true. It translated into 0.86 pounds of weight loss for me, what I did. Now, what our calculation does is it takes that information and says that we now will take it and predict what we did in the future. I have better information now to go ahead and decide how I want to approach my health. So let's say I go to my goals and I say, okay, I want to lose some weight. My daily weigh-in today was 175.2 pounds. Let's say I want to lose a pound, because I know over 30 days that if I do this equation here, that it's going to equal 0.84 pounds, correct? We know that this is going to equal this because this is exactly what my body did. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to my goals, and I'm going to say I weighed in at 175. So let's say I want to get down to 174. So I want to lose a pound over the next 30 days. So I take this and I go 174. And I say, this is, I'm going to lose this by, in a month, it's 11/26 today, so I'm going to lose it by December 26th. Boom. And I'm going to say, that's where I want to be. And now I'm going to edit. Now in the NHSK, we give you the ability to calculate based on your BMR, just like all the other sites out there. And you can do that. And reason being is because with Health Sidekick, remember, you have to have data in there because we're going off of the information you're doing in the past to predict what you're doing in the future. So if you don't have any data in there, obviously we can't give you your overall equation to health and help you figure that out. So let's say I wanted to calculate based on my BMR. My BMR says to reach this goal, 174 pounds in a month, I would eat 2,124 calories. Now that doesn't sound right because we just looked at my moving averages and we know that that's not accurate. Based on the foods that I'm eating, based on the activity I'm doing, that doesn't equal that. I can then go to calculate on Health Sidekick and it tells me 1,614 net calories per day in a month to lose 1 pound. Actually, it's a little over 1 pound. It's 1.2 pounds. 1,614. Let me go back and look at my daily log and look at my 30-day. Wow, that looks pretty accurate. I want to lose a little over a pound, pound 0.04, and the last 30 days I lost 0.84 pounds. So if I keep doing the same thing that I did last month, I'm going to lose about what HSK says. I hope this helps. That's the difference between Health Sidekick and the accuracy of it versus the BMR. And I hope it helps you like it's helped us and our members. Thank you.